Welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference with your host, Teresa Velardi. We believe that authentic, meaningful, and diverse conversations are the glue that binds us together. Our discussions remind us we have the power to uplift, challenge, stretch, and invite dynamic growth. Are you, like many, feeling like you're flying by the seat of your pants through life? Join us for conversations filled with gratitude, values, abundance, authenticity, and faith. Here's the host of our show, Teresa Velardi.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of Conversations That Make a Difference. My guest today is Joe DiMeo. We're going to introduce him in just a minute, but as you know, we usually start off with a prayer, and we'll do that now. We'll say the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it is by God's grace that we are fabulous, blessed, highly favored, living in our greatness, using our gifts and talents to make a difference in the lives of others. And all of God's great universe is conspiring in our favor. And together we say, Amen. Amen. Joe DiMeo, welcome to Conversations That Make a Difference again. You've been here before, and it's a pleasure to have you now. How are you?
Doing good. It's nice to be on here again. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me give you some background for those who have never met you before, have not seen you on my show, or don't know anything about you. I want to say that Joe DiMeo is, in fact, the world's first successful face and double hand transplant. Successfully, he's been going through life with a new face. In July 2018, when Joe was 20 years old, and planning his future. One fateful morning after working an extra late night shift, he fell asleep at the wheel. And on his way home, his car rolled several times before it burst into flames. He suffered third-degree burns over 80% of his body. And after undergoing a nearly 24-hour surgery in 2021, he is indeed the first successful face and double hand transplant. Joe's been my guest previously, and you can watch that show if you want to go back after this one today, and listen to it. It's on my YouTube channel, Teresa Velardi. Feel free to go and watch there. We're here today in celebration of Joe's book, 80% Gone, 100% Strong. Rebuilt with Resilience. And this is his story. Welcome, Joe. It's so good to have you here. Joe, your story, let's talk a little bit about how you lived your life before this tragedy that you suffered. And let's get a picture for what life was like prior to the day that you said yes to that shift and then had the car accident and the fire.
Yes, I grew up in New Jersey, with a mom and dad at home. I had a sister. I talk about that in the book a little bit in the beginning. So I grew up with a sister, and then I had typical my dad told me you go to college or you're gonna go to work, and then so I chose the work side of it because I did not like college at all, or I like school to begin with.
Mhm.
Maybe it was the teachers, I don't know, but I wasn't a fan of learning. But so he taught me how to work, and he made me do a lot more chores outside and all that junk. So I had to do a lot of chores outside. So I learned landscaping, carpenting. We used to remodel homes together. We built pergolas and just odd jobs around the house to build things. But ironically, never worked on a car with him, which is ironic because we're a car family, but never worked on a car together.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
you love cars. You have a passion for cars, don't you?
yeah, I do. And then he had a passion for cars too, and so did my mom. So it's just funny how I never worked on a car an engine with him or anything. but like I know how to take apart engine like and put it back together and all that, and change the tire and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, that was just funny. But
Yeah.
and then like I had my fun with my friends and went out a lot. So like he was strict, but also like he like didn't like hold a leash to me. And so I was also like out a lot too with my friends. So I had like a pretty really good upbringing. No helicopter parents. And then
Uh-huh.
I moved out at 18. I got a job at a lab testing food products like magnesium, potassium. Those are like the two big ones that I can remember. There's like a lot more smaller ones, like but those are like a lot more like details I forgot about.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll just test like the food code for them. And then like I was actually golfing with my dad, which we never did growing up. He just picked up that hobby as an adult with his friends, and I just helped him practice. When he's not hanging out with them. So I was just playing golf with him, and my job called me, and I picked up the overtime shift because I wanted more money for like my car,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was a typical like 5 hours sleep I got, which at that time I just turned 20, so I thought that was normal. Like I'm 20 years old, I can handle 5 hours of sleep. I've pulled all nighters before and worked the next day. I worked 2 shifts in a row, and then only got 3 hours of sleep and came back that same night. So
Yeah.
I'd done it, so I was like, yeah, whatever, I could do it again. So I did my shift, and then like then I just was driving home, fell asleep at the wheel, and then I woke up 3.5 months later from a coma.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stop there for a second. Let me just read your preface here, because this really gives an account of what happened. Falling asleep at the wheel for just seconds, my black Dodge Challenger RT took flight, flipping 3 times, smashing a telephone pole and throwing me like a rag doll when fire and flames engulfed the cab. I crashed onto the roof, trapped me as flames erupted, leaving me mere seconds from death. The raging fire burned me alive, melting my lips, skin, hands, fingers, and face before plunging me into a dark, silent world, completely burned from head to toe. In that moment, suspended between life and death, a good Samaritan who you do not know, right? You still have not met them. We'll talk about that a little bit. He shattered the window, rescued me from the fiery wreckage, and cried out, oh my God, can you hear me? Braving the heat, smoke, and broken glass, he pulled my limp body out of the driver's side window and onto the rough dirt road. There I was on the side of the highway, helpless, blind, and with charred skin clinging in tattered pieces. I'm Joseph DiMeo, and this is my story. That's the preface to this book. And if that doesn't intrigue somebody to read further and look at your life, I don't know what does. So my question to you is, did you remember being transported to the hospital? And do you have any recollection of anything that happened after being pulled from that car? And you just said you were put in a coma for 3 months. Talk to me a little bit about what you learned, or what was what were your first thoughts when you came out of that coma?
So like, well, I don't remember nothing from the accident. There was like a lot of it from police reports.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't remember clocking in that same night. I just remember like that golfing story because I had a picture on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I woke up from the coma, I just asked my mom, how are the rims in my car? And like, where's my belt? Because like I knew something happened, but I didn't know like details or like the severity of it, or like not even like what happened to my body.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up and everything like is like a blur because my eyelids were sewn like a certain way, so like my eyeballs wouldn't dry out.
Wow. Wow. So during that time period, I have such a fascination with things that people experience when they have what they call a near-death experience. What was there anything that happened that you can remember while you were in the coma, or everything is just blank until you awaken and realize where you are?
Well, like I had coma dreams, so like they medically put me in a coma
Mm-hmm.
to do all my skin grafting. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming I was still like talking or whatever. My body, like my brain, just kind of clicks it out, I guess, or blacks it out.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, I want to know what would happen, happen in the ambulance. They were telling me all that stuff, but I guess my mind doesn't want me knowing that. But
Well,
so yeah, just I just had coma dreams, and like one of them that I remember a lot, because it was the longest one for me, was like walking my dog that passed away in like 2011 or 2012 when I was like in like a freshman year in high school, and I just remember walking him up my childhood hill, and I was like, well, I guess this is it, because I didn't know I was in a coma. I thought this was it. So I just had that dream for like the longest time ever.
wow. Interesting. Interesting. I find that fascinating that people that have gone before us show up in situations and circumstances where we feel like we need them most, even if it's not in conscious way. I think that that's a miracle that happens for us to get us through whatever it is that we're in. Would you agree that that had something to do with your you literally were fighting for your life with the whole time, I'm sure, and didn't even know that you were because they had you in medical coma, yes, while they did the grafting.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the nurses were like telling my parents like talk to me while I'm in the coma, because I can hear things. So I'm assuming they were talking to me about my dogs when I was growing up, because I just got Buster at that time. So like he was probably like 9 months old when I got into the accident.
Mm-hmm.
So
And so Buster what breed is your dog?
Buster's my Boston Terrier. He's brown and white,
Okay.
and I got him randomly because I was like, I walked into a pet store just randomly, and I was like, oh, a Boston Terrier. You never see them there at all. They're kind of hard to get, a
Mm-hmm.
Boston Terrier. So I don't know why. But I was like, oh, I can't leave him now, so I got him. And then
Mm-hmm.
I got to accident. So I'm guessing they're giving updates on him and how he's doing, and I'm guessing my brain wasn't like fully like remembering Buster, so it had Skipper, which is my old dog's name, like
Mm-hmm.
pop up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Skipper was also a Boston Terrier.
Oh, nice.
So like yeah, I grew up with Boston Terrier. So I'm assuming my brain just thought it was him. So I was like, oh well, I guess I'm just walking him up the rest of my life now.
Yeah. Well, he ends up to be a really important part of your life because he was one of the reasons that you have your beautiful wife in your life. You want to tell our listeners a little bit about how you and Jessica met and the dog?
Yeah, so like after my transplant, I DM'd her because people were just following me, and then so I was just I looking through my followers and got bored, and she was with Kirkland, her black and white Boston Terrier, and I just DM'd her saying I like her dog, and then I like your dog, and then we just started talking from there, and go more and more, and then we exchanged phone numbers, and then she went to go visit one of her professors from Philadelphia as she went to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like in my parents' house is like an hour and 20 from Philly. So
Mm-hmm.
she just drove up and saw me. We played pool, had Italian dinner, and then she left the night. And then the next morning she came back and we had pizza, like afternoon. We had pizza, and then and we just kept talking after that. And then she did a travel nurse job in New York City because she's a
Mm-hmm.
nurse. So she did a travel assignment in New York City. And then like she's like, I'm gonna get an apartment. And so we got an apartment in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we lived in an apartment for about 3 years. He lived in probably 2.5, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then we bought a house together,
Mm-hmm.
and we fixed it up the best that we could. It's not our permanent home. We would like to get another home, but because I don't know how people lived in the 1950s, but things are like a lot like because the house was built in 1950s,
Uh-huh.
and like it's kind of tiny for us because like I'm guessing things are a lot smaller back then, or it's just I don't know because just like with the couch in the living room like takes a lot of space, and then adding two dogs is kind of gets like clustered in a way.
Yeah.
So then, we would like to get a bigger house, but it's, but after we clean our house, it's like we don't really need a bigger house. It's like a weird double-edged sword. Like we like the small house for the cleaning aspect, but the bigger house for the roominess.
Yeah. And now you have another puppy. You've got Ranger, right?
Yeah, so we got Ranger. Well, on the 21st, it'll be 10 months. So we got him when he was 6 weeks old. We went to Niagara Falls for just like a little like getaway, like a long weekend.
Yeah.
I think it was a holiday weekend, and on the way back, we stopped in Scranton and picked him up from like a breeder. I think we found online. We just typed in like blue nose pit bulls, and a one popped up in Scranton. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so we just got him at 6 weeks, which I think is a little too early because thank God I stay at home all the time because he would pee in the house like every 5 minutes. So I was like, yeah, so like, geez, like I don't know how people do that.
Puppies.
Yeah.
They do that. So you got him in Scranton, Pennsylvania, right in my neighborhood, I'm sure. So yeah. So a lot of people, I know that you have a big presence on social media, and a lot of people ask whether or not Jessica met you as because she is a nurse, whether she met you as because of your surgeries and whatnot. She's an OR nurse, and she's an incredible woman. She really is an incredible woman. She's sweet, she's tough, she loves you, and the dogs are what brought you together, but she didn't have anything to do with your medical procedures or anything, right? You want to?
Oh no. She met me after the transplant. I don't think I would probably date one of my nurses because like they see me in some pretty bad situations with like lines hanging out of me, and I was like, I don't want someone thinking of that. Looking on the couch at home,
Yeah.
Like, so like that, and then like I think it's illegal if like a patient and had a nurse have a thing together. So like she doesn't go like, she wasn't my nurse. A lot of people say that too.
Yeah, that's why I want you to clear it up. So
yeah, I was gonna say like, she was never a nurse at my hospital that I got the surgery at.
No, and I want to also talk about. I want to read just a few sentences from the introduction to your book. First of all, I want to ask people, go to 80% Gone. That's Joe's website, 80% Gone. You'll see it come across the screen too. Get a copy of his book. This tells his story from his standpoint, his point of view, what his life was like, what his life is like, and everything that happened in between with the accident. So. And you say this, they say the mind is a powerful thing. Well, let me tell you, after being burned over 80% of my body, I know just how powerful and how fragile it can be. Waking up in that hospital bed, wrapped in tattered bandages with tubes running in and out of me, was like waking up in a slow nightmare. Only it wasn't a bad dream. It was my reality. The physical pain was excruciating, but it was the mental anguish, the emotional roller coaster that tested me. Imagine seeing yourself in a mirror and what's left of you, and everything you knew about your face and your smile was gone, erased. That was me. And no matter how strong I am, after waking up to a face and body melted, burned beyond recognition, everything changed forever. I couldn't help but feel broken and lost. And in that darkest moment, I never believed I'd be whole again. Yet, Joe, you're whole, and you are an inspiration to so many people. And I am grateful and honored to be able to have met you personally a couple of years ago, and to keep in touch with you. but I wanted to read this because these are your words, the anguish and the mental stuff that goes on, but yet you maintain a level of positivity that most people living a regular life, not having gone through anything that you've gone through, they can't do that. What keeps you in this positive state of mind, pushing forward and living the best life you can possibly live today?
I think I was born like naturally positive. Like I also have my down days. I also think it had to do with my upbringing too, because even though my parents like had their like typical parent fights and back and forth, they never showed like them being sad, or they always had like a positive mindset, my parents. And like I think that's what I saw them. Oh, they're always positive. Uh, like the things they have now is not what we had back then. Like I only grew up with like one pair of shoes for the school year, and
Mm-hmm.
only I grew up with just exactly what I needed to grow up with.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the that school year was like my play clothes for the next year, and I got new school clothes. So, like it does sound privileged. Like that was like that was then what I needed. And like at that time, it's like, yeah, I got made fun of in school because I wore the same shirts every other week. So like the kids saw the same things. But my parents always showed me like, oh no, it's like you gotta still be positive about it. At least you
Mm-hmm.
have something to wear. So like I think that like just the positive upbringing, even though we weren't living luxury, but we had like we had everything I needed.
Right.
And
Right.
like, even though like, cause I asked my mom recently, like, how did you do it? Like with two kids, and we still went to Hershey Park for like
Mm-hmm.
a vacation for Memorial Day weekend or something. So like, Joe, just that took years to save up. We just never told you how to save it up, or there are some nights. There was like a lot of time we only had like chicken thighs, green beans, and like rice for dinner, and that's
Mm-hmm.
great nutrients. But
Mm-hmm.
that a kid doesn't want that every day for 7 days of the week. But that's what they did in order for us to go to Hershey Park, to
Mm-hmm.
have that like had that big turkey leg, which I'm still talking about till to this day. And so like just I always had like a positive mindset, and I think that's what helped me.
Mm-hmm. And I think intertwined with what you said, there's a bit of gratitude, a lot of gratitude in there. Gratitude that you had food on your table at all, right? And that your parents thought enough your mom thought enough to take you, set some money aside, still feed you well, set some money aside, and give you an experience that you might not have had she not been a little bit thrifty, right?
Yeah, like I didn't have a cell phone, or I didn't have a laptop until like senior year of high school. And like try explaining that to a teacher. Like, no, you have to have a laptop. Like every school and kid has a laptop. You don't like my dad like got a printer like 10 years ago. Like
Oh, wow.
yeah, like yeah, like I didn't have I bought my own phone for the first time
Mm-hmm.
when I was 16. And, so it's like I didn't, my parents didn't pay a phone bill for a while, and that we just used landlines. And if my
Mm-hmm.
parents wanted to get in contact with us and my friends, they would call their moms, and they would text them and say, "All right, so you have to go home now," and then
Yeah.
they would tease me about that. So it's like, and they make fun of you, and so it's like but I had an Xbox, so I was very happy without that one.
So the thing is that I'm a lot older than you, so we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have any of this computers. Computers weren't a thing when I was growing up.
Yeah,
But we made our own. We were outside playing all the time and whatever. And if we were at somebody's house and it was time for dinner, we got the phone call the same as your mom called somebody else's
yeah.
mom. We had the same thing go on,
Or
you know.
if you
Yeah.
can't contact with the kid's mom or anything, you better be home by the streetlights come on.
Oh
And I
yeah,
was
exactly. The
like,
street
yeah,
lights. Better be home by the time the street lights come on.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Or for us, it was the after dinner stuff. But before dinner, if you didn't get in the house before dinner was on the table, my father would whistle. He had this loud whistle, and no matter where we were, we could be 2 blocks away, and then we would hear him, and it was time to go in. And if we didn't get there, we were in trouble. Yeah. So, but those are the old days. But today, the day of technology, thank goodness for technology when people have stories like yours that we get the opportunity to broadcast them out and make people aware of things that can be done, miracles that have happened. You're alive today and are able to have this conversation with me because somebody else made a choice to be an organ donor and give you the body parts that you were necessary for you to have when you got into the horrible accident of your life. So, yeah, and you have a big social media presence. You have a lot of people. I know you have a lot of people asking questions. What's the biggest question, the first question that people ask you?
I mean, a lot of once the swelling is going to go down, because like they see other face transplants and like, they could take a couple months. And other people take years. It's just I'm the only one that's taking years that's on social media. Mm-hmm. So like I just explained like, which I understand. Like I don't get angry or mad or like upset or sad about it, but when they do ask me, because I don't, it's understandable. Like they're curious. So it's just because of my burns, to an 80% burn. My lymphatic system's all like messed up, and so that's why the swelling is taking a little bit longer. But the past like half a month or like year, it's been coming down like a lot frequently, which is interesting. I don't know why.
Yeah, I would imagine that your body has to there. You hear about transplants, and the body always tries to reject what's been added. Yes. And I'm sure that you've experienced a lot of symptoms, if you will, from the body trying to get used to your new face and your hands, right?
Yeah, a lot of symptoms. I would say the one symptom I can see a lot is my prednisone side effect.
Which is?
Like mood swings, moon face, and then like I try not to make prednisone the excuse for like weight gain, because like a lot of people shoot up like 40-50 pounds on prednisone, which that's noticeable, but like I'm slowly increasing my weight, so that's on me. That's not prednisone.
Mm-hmm.
But
you like to cook too, right?
Yeah.
And what Italian doesn't like to eat? Hello.
I know. So like, yeah. So I try not to make an excuse, but I do see like if I do take like my pills on empty stomach, which happens sometimes, like sometimes like on vacations or just I just don't have like something to eat at the house in the morning, or my hands hurt and I can't like mix something together. I'll take my medication and then my hands will start to calm down and then I'll eat something.
Mm-hmm.
But usually when I eat on empty stomach, I only see the side effects.
Yeah. I would imagine a lot of medications do that to you, not just the prednisone. But I want to also go back to your book for a minute. There are in the center of the book, you'll see that there are pictures of Joe and his family before the accident, and then you will see his car, and of course his dog. And
the guy with the no shirt on is a good Samaritan.
The guy that the guy
with the no shirt on. Yeah, no shirt. Okay. He's a good Samaritan.
Nice.
The one in the red shirt is my coworker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these are all the information about the accident and what happened. And these are some pictures of the aftermath of the accident. And you after your transplant. And this is Kirkland, right? That's Jessica's dog.
Oh, that's Buster. That's Buster.
Buster. Oh, that's Buster. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it kind of looks black and white.
Yeah, it does look black and white. That's why I thought it was Kirkland. But there's some good pictures in here that go along with the story where people can actually get the visual of your journey. But last year, is it last year that you took the big step of your life and you got married? You want to talk a little bit about your wedding?
Oh yeah, we got married December 5th, 2025. We got married in Hawaii, in Magic Island. Because the reason why we got married over there is Jessica's family lives in LA and my family lives in Jersey. And instead of doing like two separate things or having one side go to one other side of the country, we're like, let's just do it at our favorite place, which is Hawaii. And they can just like watch it online and just tune in.
Mm-hmm.
My mom wasn't too fond of it. She wanted to go to Hawaii, but no one was allowed to come. It was just us two. And then and then so like no one could say, like no one can pull at our arms or nothing, and so it was just us, and we liked it a lot.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. I actually, when you sent out the link, I actually watched it, and you can see the picture of them right there at their wedding on the beach. Beautiful. So, yeah, you're an inspiration, Joe. You're an inspiration. You and Jessica, you inspire me. And I'm sure that even though there are a lot of people who ask a lot of questions to get or post negative things, and I know that it's hurtful and it takes a lot of strength to rise above all of that. And you and Jessica do that really well. So kudos to you. Inspiration. And you know about the Daily Gift book series, right? We have, yeah. I'm going to talk about that for just a minute because we're working on the next one. And I'm not going to ask you to write. If you want to, you're welcome to. If you want to write something about your story, I will always receive what you have to say and will actually help you do it if you want to. But one of the things that I want to say about inspiration, people need people like you to inspire them through tough times. I have somebody in my life right now who had a horrible, horrible loss. And getting through this is really, really difficult with a capital D. And so when I see what they've gone through and what you go through, I think that, having a positive attitude, having, I don't know what your spiritual belief is, but believing that God will make things right somewhere, this too shall pass, and God doesn't make junk and he takes care of us. I think that that's inspiring. So for people who are having a hard time getting through circumstances and situations, unforeseen or foreseen, that they just can't handle for whatever reason, I think that people like you can lift them up and be an inspiration. So I want to say thank you for being somebody who will speak out and share your story and let people know that really you can get through anything, right?
Yeah, that's why I put my story out there because I'm also accepting of it too. I think if I wasn't accepting of it, I don't think I would be posting it. So I think I could accept it, and I was like, okay. And I'm also myself online too, because you see me in shop, right? You're gonna get the same Joe you see online. I'm not. There's no a bubbly personality online, and then in the stories, you get this monotone Joe. That's why I say don't meet your actors in person, because Leonardo DiCaprio isn't Jack from Titanic all the time. That's the top of my head, but so that's also another thing. I'm happy I could do that because it's just interesting how just some guy from a small town in Jersey just can be that positive inspiration for people.
Yeah. Well, you make a difference, and that's what this show is about, making a difference. And for people who need to hear a conversation like this, we need to continue having guests like you who are making a difference, not only for themselves. You had a lot of people who stepped in order so that you would be able to actually be here and have this conversation today. If the Good Samaritan didn't pull you out of the fire, if you didn't have the proper team to help, literally puts you back together, you know, it would be a whole different story, but it's not. And you've maintained an incredible attitude, and you are an incredible gift to me and to a lot of people who hear and learn of your story. I truly believe that. So if you don't write something for a daily gift of inspiration, I'll ask you for permission to write something about you. We'll talk about it, but I just want to let people know this series, Daily Gift Book series, gratitude was first, hope is second, kindness came next, a daily gift of peace. We talked about that last week with Andy from Voice Against Trafficking, a daily gift of friendship, and now we are putting together a daily gift of inspiration. And if any of you who are listening would like to know more about that, just go to dailygiftbookseries.com. The information is there, so you can look for it there. So what would you consider to be a gift for today, Joe?
I don't know. I had Uber Eats is a good gift today for me. So I dropped my food this morning. I was like looking forward to it, and I dropped it right when I was about to put on the stove.
Oh.
And so instead I got a Cobb salad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think
Great.
that was a good gift.
Yeah. Great. It's something to be grateful for.
But like nothing like, but like actually like an actual gift, like working out. Because my mom made these hand hooks to like work out. Cause I can't lift heavy with just like my bare hands anymore. So she like customized these hook things so I can have cushion on my wrist.
Okay.
So I can lift like somewhat heavy, not to my liking, but I just have to be more careful with the weights. So I think that's a good gift today. It's just being able to like lift weights again.
Yeah. And the fact that you have the ambition to do so is a gift. Do you have a daily gratitude practice? Do you practice gratitude every day?
I think, I don't know, probably not. Probably I do the bike every day, but I guess that because I wasn't able to walk after my coma, which that was like a huge gut punch because I was a gym rat. So like from squatting like 400 pounds to like not even able to walk, and it's like whoa. And like now there's like videos online I post of me like leg lifting 75 pounds.
Wow.
So like that's a good gratitude I have.
Yeah.
And
Great.
then also like being able to play with my dog Ranger every day and take care of Kirkland who's the one like with Jessica because he's getting old. He's 10 years old, Kirkland. So he's a senior dog. So I have to separate them too. So but I get the same love to Kirkland.
Yeah.
He gets a little more treats, but
Yeah.
but Ranger goes outside more and like enjoys. Ranger goes on more walks while Kirkland goes outside in the backyard, has his peace and quiet, his sun time.
Yeah.
So I guess playing with my dog is a good gratitude because I could play with him with my burnt hands. I wouldn't be able to throw a ball to him or carry a toy for him.
But you can now, and that's awesome. That's awesome that you have the ability to do that. Recently, I saw you posting some things about an organization called myFace, MyFace. Do you want to, just so that people know what we're talking about, you want to give me a little bit of insight into that organization and why you are associated with them and what you can share with the audience about that particular organization?
Yeah, so myFace is a nonprofit charity that I got invited last year to a gala, which I had no clue about. And then from that, I was like, oh, this is actually a pretty cool community. And like I was welcomed into a very immediately I was welcomed to it. And then after that, I went to a 5K walk for dogs with cleft lips. And I brought my dogs there too. And that's when I met the CEO, director, Bill. And me and him were just like best friends now. We text like almost every day, which is it's interesting because he's in his 60s. I'm texting him every day, but he's like my mentor now and my friend. And myFace is just like for facial differences, a lot of cleft lips, and I just I help them out as much as I can
Mhm,
because like it's a really nice community and they're helping me out. 2 weeks ago, I went to ACPA conference for the first time,
mhm.
and like that was like a whole nother world I never knew about, and it's so interesting to learning about like different facial differences and how people grow up with like cleft lips and everything and what they go through, like struggling. I was like, wow, like here I am, like how I am now, and then they grew up like that. I'm assuming it's a lot harder growing up like that
Yeah.
because you're always asking why, and
Mhm.
you have to go to school, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Going through school, it's just a pimple on your face is hard. I can just imagine a cleft lip,
Yeah.
or just the wrong shirt, is bad. So like
Yeah.
it's always interesting to hear different people's stories because everyone is different. Because one person with a cleft lip has a different story than another person with cleft lip, and it's like, I have a face transplant, so I don't. And I got this at 20, so like I kind of experienced life in a way because
Mhm,
like I was doing a lot at a young age because of my dad.
mhm,
So I was like also hanging around with adults, so I experienced all that.
mhm.
So it's just so interesting, like learning from other people, and
Yeah.
then like also helping them.
Yeah. And myFace is not just cleft lips, but bone deformities and all different kinds of ailments that could affect the growth of affect the face as we consider to be a normal, quote unquote, normal face.
Right.
These people have some challenges with the way that they either had, as you say, a cleft lip or a bone deformity or anything like that. Now, the charity does it help with surgical procedures? What do they actually do for
Yeah.
besides acceptance? Because that's the biggest thing. Just because somebody looks different on the outside doesn't mean that they don't have a big heart on the inside. Proof positive, right here.
Yeah. So a little fun fact, they actually supplied my apartment I got after my transplant. I stayed in the city for a month, and
Wow.
they paid for it. And I didn't even know about that.
Wow.
So they just did that, and my hospital was like, "Yeah, here's an apartment," but they didn't say who was it from or nothing. So I didn't have anyone to thank, besides my doctor in the hospital.
Hmm.
So they'll supply that, and then they'll help supply like for surgeries. They also have a little book bag thing for like parents that had babies like with facial differences and
Hmm.
deformities. Then they'll supply them with like baby wipes and like outlets to other people and uh like medical things to it.
Right.
Uh,
Do they
that
have
I
support
should I
groups?
should learn more about the medical part to it, but they had like this whole backpack filled with supplies for moms with babies like that, and then
Yeah.
they also do camps that I will be like attending in September. Just help motivate kids. Like, hey, like I look like this. I don't have my skin anymore. I'm still out here dressing how I dress and living my life.
Yeah.
It's a
And
lot.
you like your clothes. You like your spiffy looking clothes, right?
Yeah, and like they'll see that, and like I also show off my legs. I don't wear jeans in summer unless I'm going to a restaurant at night. Like, so I'm pretty revealing, and like it's gonna be hard for a kid to be that confident at that age, but hopefully they can start building from it
Mm-hmm.
and then be inspired. Like, oh wow, like okay, he's doing that. I'm also like big. I'm 6'1", so like I stand out there too, and like so it's really cool to see just kids be inspired. It's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that because I never like thought I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So do they have support groups and stuff for these people for people who are qualified to be with the program, so to speak? Do they have
Oh
support
yeah,
groups and all that?
yeah. Like, even like uh this one girl, Ali Stroker, she's a part of my face of it. She's in a wheelchair without a facial difference, and like she's a big supporter of it too.
Hmm.
And like like I never met her yet. I don't meet her soon, but uh, like me and her together would like collaborating would be like a huge inspire to people because not only on the facial difference, but she's also people in like with handicap situations.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that world, so like it's be really cool to learn from her experiences.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's all about learning about experiences and then just learning from it, and then also trying to help out the best as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you're doing is great stuff, because I think that the biggest thing that people want more than anything else is acceptance for who they are, regardless of what they look like. I think that, like nowadays, glamour magazines and all that, like, oh, you have to look like this, you got to dress like this, you got to do this, you got to do that. And in the meanwhile, a lot of those people are what I call plastic people, because they aren't real. They
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
real. They have no personality. They just have their looks, and they don't know. They won't. And I'm not saying anybody in particular, just in general. Most of that is unattainable. Those um, you know those women who have like the perfect figure, and then how many women starve themselves and do whatever they're doing to be better, to be looking better, because that's what the magazine says you have to look like. But in the meanwhile, the only thing that matters to really matters is the heart inside, the attitude. And you have an attitude of gratitude, you have an attitude of inspiration. You just you're like one of my favorite guests to have on the show, because you are really, you walk your walk and you talk your talk, even though it might be painful sometimes.
I know, yeah, a little bit, yeah. I have my down days. Like I wake up with a lot of hand pains. Like, wow, like I wish I had my old hands back again.
Mm-hmm.
Or if
Mm-hmm.
I can't open up something, it's like, oh, I wish I could, or I have to wait.
Mm-hmm. For somebody to help you. Yeah.
Yeah, like
So,
especially like lifting weights. It's like, man, I wish I could go back to benching like 300 pounds or
mm-hmm.
250.
Mm-hmm. But that comes and goes. Yes, I know that you recently had a stint in the hospital to manage that. And is it something that you deal with every day, or it gets more intense and then it eases up?
It was just a hiccup. So my doctors did like a biopsy. I just had a flare up for some reason. They don't know why. Which
Mm,
that it could have been to like stress or just I was in the sun too long or just something happened that I don't know about. Because acupuncture and helps out a lot with pain.
yeah.
And so I had to cancel that appointment. So I was like, oh, because I knew something was up. I
Yeah.
just didn't know it was that extent because I need steroids to calm it down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
that is a part of normal. I was in the hospital for 9 months. That's
Wow.
like a record. And my doctor's like, we're not counting this because it was only for 3 days, and it was it's not a rejection. It was just a hiccup. It's just a flare up.
Flare up.
Something happened.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because I went can I go into the hospital once a month for a transplant infusion, which also helps kept me out of the hospital for 9 months.
Nice.
And even then, they did a biopsy and like they saw nothing, so that's why they didn't bring me in. But I was like, I got in contact with my team. I was like, hey, I'm in like a lot of hand pain. I can't make it to my acupuncture appointment on Tuesday. Like, well, Joe, come in Monday morning then, because you know, I had tag along with Jess at 4 o'clock in the morning, which that's not. I'm not a morning person, so
Yeah.
like that's not fun waking up 4 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
and having to talk to someone.
Well, she's a trooper. That one, four
Yeah,
o'clock in the morning, and into the city, and walk to work, and still sometimes is doing her videos on the way.
I know. Yeah, it's always funny hearing pop up here and there. I don't
Yeah.
even see them half the time. My mom's like, "Did you see what Jessica says? It's hilarious. You have to watch it." I was like, "No, I didn't see it," and I follow her.
Yeah. One of these days we'll get the two of you on the show together, because
Yeah.
I love the relationship that you have, and the support that you have with each other. I mean, you're both supportive to each other, and it's just a beautiful thing. Is there anything that you want to touch on that we haven't talked about? Anything else about anything that you want me to pay attention to specifically in the book? Like, is there a favorite part that you want to share?
I think some of the quotes, I forget some of the quotes, but there's one by 50 Cent that always sticks with me. Is I didn't ask for this life, but I'm gonna live it anyways. And it was in this movie, Get Rich or Die Trying. And like 50 Cent's my favorite rapper, and that growing up, that quote never meant nothing to me. But then after having an accident, I was like, oh wow, like yeah, I didn't ask for this life at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I'm still gonna live it,
Yeah.
because he grew up in like poverty and like a bad life. He didn't ask for that life,
Yeah.
but he lived it. And now he's one of the best rappers in the world.
Yeah.
And it's like that quote really like meant something to me. And then also the Green Beret quote I have saying like be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that was a big one because it's not comfortable being 80% burn. Yeah, it's uncomfortable because I can't move my arms. My left arm, I can't, put up straight up,
Mm.
like going on roller coasters, I can't. I have to use my right arm only, and sometimes if I'm strapped in with a seatbelt, I can't reach up all the way, so I need
Yeah.
help. So like it's uncomfortable. Like I'm still gonna live it. I have to be comfortable being uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that's something I've been telling to my the people at myFace. Like, yeah, I gotta. Now it's try being you be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you said roller coasters. Are you somebody that rode the roller coasters with your hands in the air, screaming all the way from the top to the end?
No, just I'm not that person. I'm holding on, but I'm gonna join. Me and Jessica like roller coasters. So that's something like enjoy doing together.
Yeah.
So she's always buckling me in and putting the thing down for me.
That's cool.
But that's fun. But yeah, I always like enjoying that, and that also doesn't affect my transplant, which I was happy about.
Yeah, that's good. So what do you see for your future, Joe? What are some of your goals that you want to attain in your future? We have about 7 or 8 minutes left. Let's talk about what you've got lined up for your future. What are your aspirations?
Hopefully, just to start doing public speaking. I would say the ACPA conference that like myFace invited me out to. Like they like brought me out there. They hopefully just start doing that more and just spreading more awareness of just my story and like situations, and hopefully speaking at more events at like schools, because I also did a speaking event in my high school actually last year, and actually probably close to a year now, and like seeing like juniors and sophomores being all like inspired by me. That was like, oh wow, it's pretty cool. And like when they see me at Dunkin' Donuts or Quick Check while I'm back in my hometown, they call me out like, oh wow, you inspire me, and like, I know that's pretty cool. Like I know you guys will apply it when I was talking. You didn't seem like I did anything to you guys, but it turns out you did. They just, I guess at all, I don't know, but like
Yeah.
in private, they're like all excited. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. This is my hometown.
Yeah.
It's just
You're
like
making
so
a
great
difference.
awareness.
You're making a difference, Joe. You're making a difference. Every word that you get the opportunity to speak, to share inspiration and share hope and share, gratitude and all of the good things that come from you. Despite your journey, I mean, your attitude is just amazing to me. Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like also like I would like to get a car. Like that's a goal of mine. Just to show people like, hey, like I was in a really bad car accident. I drive Jessica's car, but I'd like to get back in a muscle car again,
Mhm.
and just to like show people like, hey, like it is possible to get back in a car that you love to drive, and to be confident. Like you shouldn't really be scared to drive again, even if you're in an accident. Even though a lot of people take like accidents like that really like to heart. Just like a simple fender bender, people reach out to me, and like you have to cope with it the best way you do. You can't do it like me. I like to just jump in the pool, you sink or swim. That's how I do it. Sink or swim. But uh,
So
you know,
what's the best you said about the car? What's your car? What's your next car? What do you is your dream car right now?
well, I'm trying to save up for a Hellcat Charger because I had an RT Challenger, but I'm being more responsible. I want a 4-door car, cheaper insurance with a 4-door car, and then I'd like to get Jessica like a Hellcat Durango. So we both want Hellcats. It's a
Okay.
different trim, same trim level, but different style car. So that'd be pretty cool to have like 2 Dodges in the driveway.
Nice. What else you do? Can you think about your future? And so you said you wanted a bigger house. Do you think you'll always stay in the New Jersey area, or do you have dreams to live someplace else in the country, or what do you
I
see for
think
yourself?
we want like to have a bigger house in Jersey. The public school is a lot better in Jersey, but then like we'd also want like a condo or something small in California to just when it gets too cold in Jersey, just take a weekend trip, back in LA to see Jessica's family,
Yeah.
like not pay for a hotel or Airbnb.
Yeah.
But those things they get pricey after a while. And like, it'd be pretty cool to be Bicoastal one day.
Hmm. Hmm. Do you see children in your future?
Hopefully, yeah. Like, we're married, so it won't pulse out. It's nothing bad. Like, she finally got her last name changed over. She just changed over her plane tickets, like her airline fares.
Hmm.
Yesterday, actually, she had a call to get. That was the hardest one.
Yeah.
The driver's license was the easiest. The hardest was airplane tickets.
Wow.
And it's like the weirdest things is the hardest things.
Mm-hmm.
But like you think Social Security will be the hardest? No, she just I got my name changed. Here's my proof of marriage. All right, here you go.
Yeah.
But like to change the airline ticket, like they need like 20 documents. She's like, what?
Wow. Crazy.
I know.
Crazy. Yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff going in the world. I like keep it simple, keep it simple. So
That's why I tell a lot of people too. Like when I go to like places, just stay in your own lane. It doesn't matter if someone stares at you for 5 seconds. They're gonna stare at you, judge you for 5 seconds, and move on and do the same exact thing as someone else.
yeah,
Like so like the next person, you're out of their thoughts already.
yeah.
But like you're still in there,
Yeah.
you're still thinking about them, even though they're not thinking about you.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, that's how I got over my a lot of my stares.
Mm-hmm. Stay in your own lane. Good advice. Good advice. So if somebody wants to get a copy of your book or wants to talk to you about a speaking engagement or any of those things, your website, you want to give your website?
That's at 80percentgone.com.
Yeah. The number 80 and percent is spelled out.
Yeah, percent and then gone and then .com.
Right. Okay. And you still have books available. This is the only place where they can get them, 80percentgone.com. They're not on Amazon. They're not available anywhere else. And I know you do offer to autograph because I have an autograph copy right there. Yes. And great story. I'm so glad that you wrote your book. And I look forward to all that is ahead for you and Jessica and your puppy family that you have there.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah. We thank you, Joe, for coming here and talking about your situation and being the person that you are. Not only are you helping other people through your attitude, but now you're also collaborating with myFace and doing what you can in order to be able to make people feel that regardless of what has happened in their life goes on and you have to make the best of it. And I think that that's the conversation that makes a difference for me every time I talk to you. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was really nice.
You're welcome. So, all right. So I can't believe our hour has gone already. It's done. It just flew by. And I just want to say to everybody out there, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go to Teresa Velardi at on YouTube, Teresa Velardi, and like our page, subscribe to the YouTube page. Go to Conversations That Make a Difference on Facebook, like us there, and we go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So join us the next time. And until then, make sure the conversations that you are having are making a difference for someone else and for you. See you next time. Stick around, Joe.
Okay.
That brings us to the close of another episode of Conversations That Make a Difference with host Teresa Velardi. We want to sincerely thank you for tuning in and sharing your time with us today. Our greatest hope is that today's discussion inspired your personal growth, encouraged you to share your unique gift, and gave you the courage to write your own magnificent story. If this message resonated with you, let's keep the conversation going. Take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on our Conversations That Make a Difference Facebook page. This will ensure you never miss a moment of inspiration. We air new episodes every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It truly helps us reach and empower more people. Until next time, keep making a difference. We look forward to welcoming you back next Tuesday to our next conversation.